follow the Constitution. And the Constitution I swore to support and work within said 2 terms.
President Buhari speaks to Nigerians in Saudi Arabia, restates commitment to constitutional democracy.
The troops are alert, ready to do the necessary operations.
Nigeria's defense chiefs revisit Borno State, take stock on security situation. Plus, National Assembly demands better performance of the power sector. Hello, this is NTA Network News. We are live in Abuja. I am Jummai Yusuf. Adiola Kami Akere joins us from our Lagos studio, and Asamau Habibu Shagari is in Sokoto. Thanks for joining us. President Muhammadu Buhari has returned to Nigeria from Saudi Arabia this evening after attending the Riyadh Investment Summit, where he presented Nigeria's credentials to global investors. President Buhari, who proceeded to Medina to perform the Lesser Hajj, prayed for Nigeria and her citizens. He was received on arrival by top government officials at the presidential wing of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. Meanwhile, just before leaving Saudi Arabia, President Muhammadu Buhari has again restated his commitment to constitutional democracy, emphasizing that under his watch, executive term limits will be kept sacrosanct. He, however, promised that before leaving office in 2023, his administration will remain firm, decisive, and more ruthless in tackling insecurity and other obstacles to national unity and stability for a prosperous Nigeria. This was while addressing a select group of Nigerians in Mecca, Saudi Arabia. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has details.
Whatever I can do to make sure that I improve the life of all Nigerians, I will continue to do it.
This President Muhammadu Buhari said is the least he can do to reciprocate the enormous goodwill, trust and respect he enjoys from the nation's majority since coming to power. Consequently, nothing will be left to chance in sustaining efforts at addressing Nigeria's fundamental challenges in fulfillment of his pre-election promises.
My problem is northwest. Same people, same culture, same religion, killing each other, stealing each other's property. I have to be very hard on them very recently, and I'll continue to be hard on them because I can't understand why they are misbehaving.
The president urged Nigerians in Saudi Arabia to respect the laws of their host country and do nothing to undermine the many years of mutually beneficial relationship between the two countries. He used the opportunity to confirm to his guests that his tenure ends on May 29, 2023.
So there's no question of tazarchi. I don't want anybody to start making noise about it. I said I swore by the Holy Quran, I will follow the Constitution. And the Constitution I swore to support and work within said 2 terms. So I'm finishing with 2 terms, if I survive it.
Leader of the Nigerian community in Makkah, Dr. Abdul Qadir Maikudi, who spoke on behalf of the group, requested the president to give necessary support and assistance to the privately run Nigerian International School in the kingdom towards providing science and technical education. The Nigerian ambassador to Saudi Arabia, Yahya Lawan, and the Consul General in Jeddah, Ambassador Abdul Qadir Mansur, attest to the good conduct of the nearly 1.5 million Nigerians in the kingdom.
I'm happy, Mr. President, to report to you most Nigerians in the kingdom, especially the professionals, are doing extremely well. Highly respected, distinguished Nigerians, and they're earning a very good positive image for our country. And for this reason, the mission is always supportive. We partner with them to further elevate the image of our dear country.
Nigeria has very high profile in this country. We are highly respected because of the way these Nigerians go about their legitimate businesses.
President Muhammadu Buhari was in Saudi Arabia for the Future Investment Summit, where he delivered keynote address. From Makkah, Saudi Arabia, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
The president has since returned to Abuja. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has stressed the need for peaceful coexistence among all Nigerians as he joins the Christian community in the northern part of the country at the 17th International Prophecy Conference holding in Kafanchan, Kaduna State. State House correspondent Jide Onifade tells us more.
It is a time for celebration. And also a time for reflection at the 17th International Prophecy Prayer Conference here in Abuja, Kaduna State. Among the congregation is Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, who is invited to speak in blessing of the people and the nations of the church. The Vice President emphasizes Jesus' love and compassion for the people despite the trials he passed through.
And I always want to emphasize that Jesus Christ did not come to establish a religion.
And while making references to various areas in the Bible, Vice President Osinbajo calls for peace, forgiveness, and righteousness. As he says, these are what exalt our nation.
So despite the fact that you're a pilgrim on this earth, you're a heaven-bound pilgrim on this earth, you are required to seek the peace and prosperity of the land that you're in. You are required to pray to the Lord for it, because if it prospers, as the scripture says, if it prospers, you too will prosper. But as citizens, as leaders, we must make God our companion.
Using the Vice President as a point of contact for the nation, the congregation prayed for Nigeria and other nations passing through difficulties.
For Nigeria to move forward.
The event also includes the celebration of the 30th anniversary of the Throne Room Trust Ministry.
Church must stop criticizing its own.
And Apostle Emmanuel Nuhu Kure's 42 years in the ministry. Jide Onifade, NTA News.
Let's shift our attention to security matters as Minister of Defense Major General Bashir Salihi Magashi says the federal government is fully committed to providing all the necessary resources to the military to successfully carry out the operations across the country. The minister stated this on operational visit to Maiduguri in company of the service chiefs. Memuna Garba reports.
This is the third visit by the Minister of Defense alongside service chiefs to Maiduguri, the Borno state capital, aimed at bringing to a quick end the lingering Boko Haram crisis in the northeast region. The visit was to further strategize and inject fresh ideas into the ongoing counter-insurgency operations and assess the situation with a view to knowing troops' challenges and addressing them for optimal performance. Major General Bashir Magashi appreciated the military's gallantry and continued successes being recorded in the counter-insurgency war and expressed optimism that with the current commitment, the Boko Haram crisis will soon come to an end.
There is a lot of progress, and we are happy that the troops are alert and ready to do the necessary operations that will help us to achieve victory in the theater of operation.
The minister and the service chiefs, as well as principal staff officers from the defense headquarters, army and the multinational joint task force went into operational closed-door meeting. The minister, before departing Maiduguri, visited wounded soldiers at the 7th Division Hospital and unveiled a road-tagged peace drive, as well as officers' transit camp within the Memalari cantonment. In Maiduguri, Maimuna Garba, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the military and other security agencies are intensifying multi-sectoral approach towards a formidable cybersecurity in Nigeria. This is the focus on the 2021 International Cybersecurity Awareness Program organized by the Defense Space Administration in Abuja, with emphasis on exploiting enhanced cyber technology in the ongoing drive to further safeguard Nigeria and Nigerians from cyber threats. The Defense Space Administration, in collaboration with the Office of the National Security Advisor, is to consolidate efforts on developing a resilient infrastructure and capacity against cyber attacks across the country.
It has become an issue for government, and so there is need for us to institute and ensure compliance with similar attack, especially in our climate in Nigeria.
The 2021 Cybersecurity Awareness is with the theme Developing Cyber Capabilities for the Enhancement of the Armed Forces Operations and National Security. Still talking security, the federal government has inaugurated a vulnerability audit of the Nigerian Correctional Service custodial centers across the country. A statement by media advisor to the Minister of Interior, Shola Fashore, indicates that the minister tasked the audit to identify fault lines in the security setup and penetration levels of the custodial centers, and that it is a crime for anyone to breach any custodial facility in the country, as it amounts to challenging the sovereignty of Nigeria. Such persons, the minister says, must not live to regret their actions. Controller General Nigeria Correctional Service Haliru Nababa assured that teams will be inaugurated in each of the geopolitical zones and an interim report submitted in the next 1 week. Vice President Yemi Oshibajo at a conference of the Network of African Parliamentarians in Abuja says Nigeria remains committed to fulfilling its obligations as a member of the ECOWAS and the African Union, as well as a leading role on the continent. National Assembly correspondent Vivian Idepefo has the report.
Transnational terrorism, cross-border crime, asymmetrical and cyber warfare, as well as armed conflicts that persist in renewed forms, experts say require another tactical approach. This gathering of African parliamentary members of defense and security committees, therefore, seeks to explore the prospects of the recently developed European Union peace facility and the strategies adopted by legislators in discharging their constitutional roles in a pandemic, particularly as it relates to national security.
As part of our efforts in responding, we have prioritized our commitment to the constitutional imperative of guaranteeing the security and welfare of the people. We have embarked upon an ambitious program of reforming critical law enforcement institutions while sustaining consistently increased investment in our defense and security sectors.
We have to domesticate whatever it is that we resolve here in our parliaments. And what is essential also is to also engage in the arms of our government in all our countries.
Drawing from his experience in the military and now a traditional, cultural and religious leader, the Sultan of Sokoto assured of support and leadership in attaining set goals.
And as traditional religious and cultural leaders, we will always be around to support you, to also lead in getting things done.
The three-day conference has defense and security cooperation between Europe and Africa, new mechanisms and reappropriation as the theme. In Abuja, Vivian Idepefo, NTA News.
Information and Culture Minister Laya Mohammed has presented a 2022 budget proposal of 7.8 billion naira for his ministry to the Senate Committee on Information and National Orientation. Anthony Forsen reports.
Without any waste of time, Honorable Minister, let us start from you, because we want to know all your proposal of budget 2021 and also 2022.
Chairman, Senate Committee on Information and National Orientation, Danladi Sangara, setting the stage for the Information and Culture Minister, who took time to appeal to the committee to see the need for an increase in budgetary allocation to his ministry for obvious reasons.
Our challenges have been the same over the years. We have never had enough allocation to execute our projects. As we say always, what is before you today, sir, is grossly inadequate to carry out all our responsibilities. We are also, of course, not unmindful of the challenges the country is facing, both in terms of revenue generation and in terms of the epidemic that has also affected not just lives but our source of livelihood.
Responding to questions from members of the committee, Lai Mohammed maintained that with adequate and timely release of funds, the job of his ministry will be made easy.
Yes, feeding the pulse of Nigerians is very important, but we have other means of so doing. And that's one example I gave you, sir. But I agree with you that we clearly need this money. And these arguments, Mr. Chairman, will not arise if we have gotten the money as and when.
Out of the over 7.8 billion naira proposed, personnel and overhead will go up 3.9 billion and 900 million naira respectively, while the sum of over 3 billion naira will go for capital projects as it relates to both information and culture sector. In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
More reports after this break. Do stay. Thanks for joining us. The House of Representatives Committee on Power says federal government's huge investment in the power sector, which from 2015 to date amounts to more than 900 billion naira, should be justified by regulators and operators in the sector. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports that the committee gave the pointer during budgetary appraisals and projections with some agencies in the sector.
At these engagements with the Rural Electrification Agency, the Rural Electrification Agency explains that more than 22 billion naira has been released for 264 projects spread across the 6 geopolitical zones in Nigeria.
This is the very first time in my life in this system that I saw a 100% release.
After we complete these projects, we have a situation where, we don't get certified immediately by NEMSA. The same as the discourse as well. We also have that issue of after completion of projects, the discourse have not been able to electrify in some communities.
The committee also met with the Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission. Meanwhile, the House Committee on Public Service Matters at a budget defense session with the Office of the Head of the Civil Service of the Federation called for capacity building for all categories of workers.
You cannot have a resourceful civil servant until and unless when you train them.
We discovered that we don't have planning officers, so most of the MDAs are having a lot of problems, and so we have started training planning officers in collaboration with NISA.
The Civil Service Institute also met the Committee for Budget Defense. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Few days to the commencement of the COP26 holding in the United Kingdom, Nigeria's expectation is that more developed countries will change the direction of the conversation around energy transition in favor of the Africa at the Global Summit, according to Vice President Yemi Osinbajo at a virtual panel discussion on a just transition balancing climate mitigation with Africa's development, organized by the Tony Blair Institute for Global Change. With him on the panel were the President of Tanzania, Samia Suluhu Hassan, the former British Prime Minister Tony Blair, and the Executive Secretary of the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa, Dr. Vera Songwe. The COP26 summit is scheduled to hold in Glasgow, Scotland from October 31st to November 12, 2021. Nigerian government and the private sector are making concerted efforts to give women more chances on the turnaround which the nation's economy needs at this time the world is facing trying times. Now, part of the new initiative is what the Nigerian Economic Society is advocating on giving more opportunities and empowerment to women. Bosede Ebel reports.
For far too long, there have been global deliberations on how women can make the society better, not only in domestic responsibilities, but all aspects of human endeavor, especially sustainable development, peace building, and the economy. These were some of the issues brought by panelists at the 62nd National Conference of the Nigerian Economic Society on Women Economic Empowerment, which stressed the need to improve investment in women as a way of strengthening national development.
We have instances where women can own
resources but do not have control over it.
The earlier speakers talked about lack of access to finance, income, assets.
There must be deliberate attempt to focus on funding for women. So I remember the time when we had applied for a job, and because I was pregnant, I was marginalized. I wasn't given the job.
With the theme, Global Uncertainties and Policy Interventions for Macroeconomic Stability in Africa, the conference was organized by the Development Research and Project Center under Partnership for Advancing Women in Economic Development. Experts here revealed that women empowerment programs must capture those genuinely targeted.
We need to empower women, and we need to eradicate all those barriers, socio-economic barriers that are not allowing women to contribute to nation building.
This is a very good platform to profile our problems and for them to provide solutions.
Government recognizing the fact that women play a pivotal role when it comes to national development.
As empowering women is a sure way to poverty reduction in societies like Nigeria, the experts say more investment in the 2022 budget will be a new beginning to realize this positive objective. In Abuja, Boss Ebo, NTA News.
Still on empowerment, the senator representing Adamawa Central in the National Assembly, Aishatu Lairu Ahmed Binani, has distributed more than 2,000 bedding sets to internally displaced persons as part of a humanitarian gesture as Hamilton approaches. Osman Mukhtar reports.
The over 2,000 bedding sets, which include mattresses, blankets, among others, were shared by Senator Aishatu Dahiru Ahmed Binani across Fufore and Malkohi IDP camps, in addition to other IDPs settling in host communities. Their gesture is not only to cushion the effects of the Hamilton season, but to also make them feel at home.
I call on all of us to remain vigilant and security conscious in order to assist our security agencies in their attempt to bring to an end our security challenges, not only in Adamawa and the Northeast, but throughout the country.
The beneficiaries were full of praises to the senator for the kind gesture.
This is the first time we are receiving such items.
So I wish her more blessings in life.
The senator has been reaching out her constituents with projects and other humanitarian services for over 2 years. In Yola, Usman Mukhtar, NTA News.
An educationist and frontline politician in Edo State, Ken Imaswebon, has been inducted into the Ambrose Ali University Hall of Fame. The award was bestowed on him at the 40th anniversary of the institution as recognition for his contribution to humanity. Goodluck Inani reports.
The visitor to the institution and governor of Edo State, Godwin Obaseki, congratulated the Ambrose Ali University for its achievement in the past 40 years in educating and inculcating good morals in their students and making them great men and women who are doing great in their various chosen endeavors. Represented by former Commissioner for Education in the state, Jummai, the governor reiterated his commitment to the development of the school.
We decided to prioritize the educational system in the state to ensure that we are able to compete in a global world.
The acting vice-chancellor, Professor Sareme Bensine Osadolo, told the governor that his support and that of the inductees, including the Esama of Benin Kingdom Chief Gabriel Benedion, are felt and appreciated.
His Excellency Mr. Godwin Noegase Obaseki, for his vision to reposition Ambrose Ali University.
Dedicated to the industry and visionary qualities of the late Professor Folorunsho Ambrose Ali.
Ken Imaswagbo, other than his love for education, is also popularly known as Rice Man, a household name in Edo and beyond, especially during Christmas and New Year festivities. From Ekpoma, Goodluck Inani, NTA News.
6 states of the Northeast have unanimously recommended for total review of the current Federation account sharing formula to reflect the yearnings and aspirations of Nigerians. This was during the zonal public hearing on review of the country's revenue sharing formula organized by the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission in Gombe. Abbas Mekano reports.
Apart from working out revenue sharing formula, the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission is also expected to review the allocation formula to meet the yearnings and aspirations of Nigerians, which formed part of the reason for this meeting.
The Commission obtained relevant data from relevant agencies for use in the review process.
Governor Muhammad Yahya of Gombe State suggested effective harnessing of the country's abundant natural resources in order to meet the current economic realities.
The public hearing on the review of revenue allocation formula is indeed apt and timely, as it will enable us to review the challenges of economic development, and it's an avenue for diagnostic review of issues confronting revenue generation.
Representatives of governors from all the 6 states of the sub-region presented memorandum on behalf of their people with slightly different suggestions on how best the sharing formula can be fair to the majority of Nigerians, but unanimously recommended the review of the current formula, which gives the federal government 52.68%. In Gombe, Abbas Mekano, NTA News.
The Senior Citizens Center is clamoring for an all-inclusive agenda that guarantees a dignified and healthy well-being of all the persons in Nigeria. And to achieve this, the center says it is collaborating with the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA. Comfort Ahmadu reports.
Research shows that older persons are becoming a significant percentage of the total population. Concerned about the position, security and identity of senior citizens in Nigeria, the Director General, National Senior Citizens Center, is seeking continuous support of the Nigerian Television Authority towards promoting the affairs of the center to create more awareness on the rights of older persons and fight against all forms of discrimination.
Building capacities of senior citizens, which means in effect that it realizes that to be old is not the end of life. That even though you're a senior citizen, you still have that capacity, that latent, is that latent asset that is still there.
It's a cause that the Director General of the NTA pledges to support the center in enhancing its operations and identity in the society while commending the progress so far made.
It's our responsibility, it's a part of our mandate, to work with other federal government agencies to advance, the aims and objectives of the federal, government. The only help NTA can give you is to make sure that everybody gets to know about you. Everybody gets to understand what it is that you do.
Similarly, the National Senior Citizen Center is soliciting the collaboration of the private sector to advance causes of the senior citizens in Nigeria at a roundtable meeting on investment and economic development, opportunities in agent care and digital inclusion. The center underscored the need to drive more investment at the center to improve their livelihoods, with participants from the health sector, financial institutions, the media, ministries, departments and agencies. Conversations focused on strategic ways to better the lives of older persons.
Giving senior citizens a sense of belonging is a very important aspect of that, because the young cannot do it alone.
The center's mission is to ensure the mechanisms for sustainable engagement will be identified. In Abuja, Comfort Amodu, NTA News.
Adiola in our Lagos studio is standing by with more reports from that axis. Hello, Adiola.
Hello, Jummai. As a follow-up to its determination of developing capacity within the maritime space to meet up with future demand and harness the potential inherent in the blue economy, the federal government has incorporated about 300 persons into its National Seafarers Development Program. Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, says the move is imperative to make the maritime sector increase its contributions to the nation's GDP. Michael Olaleye reports.
The reality that seafarers are the future of the maritime industry is assisting Nigeria to build a strong and viable seafarers development program. And since its establishment more than 10 years ago, the country has trained 2,041 cadets across different countries of the world, with 656 qualified as officers in the field of marine engineering and nautical sciences. This ceremony is another step going forward in the quest to dominate the seafaring space. But what makes this initiative different is that, unlike previous ones in which cadets complete shore-based training and wait for placements, knowledge acquisition and voyage will be done simultaneously.
The training you will receive and the certification you will achieve will put you into the global shipping marketplace and enable you to ultimately contribute your prospective quotas to the expansion and diversification of the national economy.
The demand for seafarers will invariably increase, especially as Nigeria makes concerted efforts to strengthen its Cabotage Act, which gives more opportunities to vessels flying the country's flag with indigenous seafarers on board.
You are now ambassadors of Nigeria. You have to be of utmost behavior. You have to study and pass your exams. After you've been trained, you'll be hired overseas.
While Nigeria is also planning to sign a bilateral agreement on the mutual recognition of its certificate of competencies to open opportunities for Nigerian seafarers abroad, it is working with experts to ensuring that its maritime education and training meets international standards. In Lagos, Michael Olale, NTA News.
Now, water, soda, and other kinds of drinks in plastic bottles are often a part of some people's meal. These products, if not properly stored, can be hazardous to human health. Let's hear more from Hingino John Adams.
Deborah Nweke displays water and drinks stored in PET bottles outside her shop. These drinks are exposed to sunlight, which could be dangerous to the health.
When you put everything inside the fridge or put everything inside the shop, they might just pass by and get at the other place where they displayed it.
Modernization has transformed packaging of some drinks and water from glass bottles to plastics to make them more attractive and easy to carry about. In spite of the advantages, constant consumption of drinks in plastic bottles that are exposed to sunlight can be detrimental to a person's health over time.
The chemicals used in production of plastic are toxic and detrimental to health. This could be direct toxicity in the cases of lead, cadmium, and mercury.
Taking such drinks once in a while is considered safe. However, long-term consumption is dangerous because of contamination as a result of chemicals released over time by the plastics. How many Nigerians are aware of this?
I normally buy and drink, that's all.
I don't know, maybe the sun affects it or not.
Afolabi Sholebo is the general manager of the Lagos State Consumer Protection Agency, LASCOPA.
It can also cause some other diseases like cancer and other form of diseases that may be very terminal. Rather than keeping all these plastic bottle drinks under the sunlight, they can get dummies. They can use the dummies to display so that people will know that, oh, they sell things here.
As relevant stakeholders continue to enlighten Nigerians on safe ways of storing plastic bottled drinks, it is expected that people like Deborah and others will be more educated. In Lagos, Hingino John Adams, NTA News.
And we're done from Lagos, but we'll take another break. The news will continue thereafter. Please stay with us.
It's good to know you're still there. A book, 101 Fake News on NSAS, has been unveiled in Abuja. Special advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, who unveiled the book, advocated punishment for purveyors of fake news and advised Nigerians to be conscious of information they consume and share. Vera Chinwuba reports.
Nigeria is passing through trying times. Fake news, therefore, can constitute a weapon of mass destruction if not checked. The book, 101 Fake News During EndSARS, is a product of investigative journalism, which exposed bit-by-bit account of fake news items disseminated on various social media platforms by groups and persons with vested interests who took advantage of the EndSARS to incite Nigerian youths against constituted authority that resulted in destruction of individual, private, and public properties. The book, a publication of ER Nigeria, also gave account of other events which confirmed they were actually fake.
Those of us who generate information must self-regulate ourselves. First, check. Subject what you are pushing out to a thorough check, a thorough analysis.
And one of the ways through which we can handle this is through conscious effort.
The author said consumption of wrong information could lead to taking wrong action. Editor-in-Chief PR Nigeria, who reviewed the book, recommended that necessary machineries be put in place to curb the menace.
Need to be more careful about getting any information online and believing them.
The author said consumption of wrong information could lead to taking wrong action.
We had to come up with a counter-narrative to all those misinformation in order to, one, set the record straight, and secondly, to ensure that history gets the right account.
Also shared the experiences of EndSARS as victims, but said never again. In Abuja, Viera Chumba, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari rejoices with consummate entrepreneur and trailblazer investor Chief Adebutu Kessington as he celebrates his 86th birthday. The president salutes the renowned philanthropist, selfless leader and founder of Kessington Adebukola Adebutu Foundation for his services to God and humanity in various capacities, making it his core value to bring succor to the helpless in the society. The president commends the driving force behind Baba Ijebu for continually providing wise counsel and investing in human capital development for Nigerians of all shades to express themselves towards fulfilling their potentials. As the multi-titled chief celebrates another birthday, President Buhari joins family, friends and associates in thanking God for where he has brought him, praying that the giver of life will bless him with more in good health to continue to mentor Nigerians within and outside his community. And Asmao is in our Sokoto Network Center for more on network news. Hello, Asmao.
Jummai, good evening and welcome to Sokoto. The contribution of the seat of the Caliphate in uniting Muslims in Nigeria and Africa has continued to impact positively even in the contemporary African setting. Sheikh Muhammad Dati reports that this was contained in the paper. First presentations line up to mark 15 years anniversary of the Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammad Saad Abubakar. The report.
Dr. Muhammad Isa Talatan Mopra is a renowned Islamic scholar who has written and translated many literary works of the jihad leaders. In his lecture, the Islamic cleric highlighted the enormous contributions of the caliphate in many aspects of life. He identified 3 components that has made the seat of the caliphate succeed in its strive to unite the Muslims. These components include Islam, education, and truthfulness, which were used by the jihad leaders. In the contemporary day Nigeria and Africa, Sheikh Isa said Sir Ahmadu Bello, Premier of Northern Nigeria, and the 20th Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammad Saad Abubakar, contributed immensely in the unity of Muslims. Chairman of Planning Committee of the lecture series, Muhammad Lawal Medoki, said the lecture is organized to refresh the memory of the present-day youths to know their history and literary works of the caliphate leaders. He expressed dismay over the dominance of Western culture that copies the minds of the youth rather than knowing their religion. With the lecture and activities, Lawal Medoki expressed hope that the lost history will resurface. There were goodwill messages from the Vice Chancellor, Istiqama University, Kano, Professor Salihu Shehu, Dr. Sani Aliyu Sagir, Chairman of House Committee on Religious Affairs, Abubakar Shehu Shamaki, and the representative of Wazirin Sokoto. In Sokoto, Shehu Muhammad Datti, NTA News.
Stakeholders in Sokoto have advocated for the establishment of Persons with Disabilities Commission to aid the full implementation of Discrimination Against Persons with Disabilities Prohibition Act signed into law by Governor Aminu Waziri Tambuwal. Stakeholders are optimistic that if fully implemented, the law will further liberate persons with disabilities to attain their goals. Shehu Muhammad Datti again reports.
The gender sensitization trend for women on the discrimination against persons with disabilities was organized by Kanawa Educational Foundation for the Disabled in collaboration with the National Commission for Persons with Disability, and it brought together the people with disabilities, civil society groups, and other relevant stakeholders. It focused on the provisions of the Discrimination Against Persons with Disabilities Prohibition Act signed by President Muhammadu Buhari in 2019. The law covered all discriminations and disparity against persons with disabilities in public and private sectors. Right to equal education, health, empowerment opportunities are all assured under the law. Stakeholders spoke on the general overview of the law, identified four enforcement amongst biggest challenges of the discrimination law, and advocated for establishment of a state commission to tackle the issues of persons with disabilities in Sokoto.
Women are mostly left behind when it comes to issues of national discourse and concern. So it is very, very important for them to have knowledge of the law and have an understanding so that they'll be able to seek redress where necessary.
The government and its agency are under a duty to protect the disabled persons under this act.
Coordinator, Northwest National Commission for Persons with Disabilities, Amina Audu, said the sensitization is designed to educate persons with disabilities.
It's a manner of raising awareness about the law, especially in persons with disabilities community, so that they will be able to understand the law better.
There were goodwill messages from the Special Advisor on Disabled Matters and some of the participants. In Sokoto, Shehu Muhammad Datti, NTA News.
And that's it from here. It's back to Jummai in Abuja.
Thank you, Asma'u. And Ayodeji Makinde is here with the latest in sports updates.
Thanks, Jummai. Let's begin with rugby. Nigeria's men's rugby team, Stallions Sevens, are determined to make the top three when they drop kick against Kenya Shuja at 2021 Kenya Safari Sevens tournament in Nairobi on Saturday. The squad, which has been training in Kenya since arriving on Thursday, posted negative COVID-19 test results. As a former coach of the national team donated kits to boost their morale, a development President Nigeria Rugby Football Federation, Ademola Are, believes will spur them to victory.
We're having a series of meetings, psyching them up and letting them know that we are the David of this program and we are ready to slay the Goliaths of this championship. Nigerians are ready to go, and with the players at home, with the support of the Honorable Minister and the Permanent Secretary, we are very...
The championship is the first since the emergence of the new board of the Federation after inauguration by Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Sunday Dari. Moving on to handball now, safety shooters of Abuja are still in contention to defend their Nigeria Handball Premier League title and are now set to play Confluence Stars of Lokoja on match day 10 of the championship at the Moshood Abiola National Stadium, Abuja, Saturday. Also on Saturday, Plateau Vipers take on the Defenders of Abuja and Kano Pillars entertain Chief of Army Staff Shooters. In some selected results of Day 9 Friday, Defender Babes beat Seasider Babes of Lagos 24-22 goals. Confluence Queens lost 22-31 to Kada Queens, while Plateau Vipers lost 23-25 goals to Toja Marine Academy. Away from Nigeria, actions continue in the English Premier League on Saturday with Leicester City taking on Arsenal at the King Power Stadium. League leaders Chelsea are at the Sports Direct Arena to meet Newcastle United in a match that will be live on the NTA at 2:30 p.m. While Manchester United, after the 5-0 humiliation in the hands of Liverpool, are in London to play Tottenham Hotspur. In another development, the Spanish League enters week 12 on Saturday with Elche taking on Real Madrid. FC Barcelona, who recently parted ways with Ronald Koeman as their manager, will play against Alaves, and at the Estadio Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan, Sevilla entertain Osasuna. And that's your sports. It's back to Jummai.
Thank you, Ayadeji. And that's it on Network News tonight. Thanks so much for your time. I am Jummai Yusuf. But before we go, don't forget to step up, be a star, and join the NTA in the fight against rape and rapists.